All right, y'all. God bless everybody. We are live. And yeah, we had a little bit of a technical difficulty again today, guys. All right, we got some issues. Again, somebody came and painted my green wall with a picture of a mural of a garage interior. Marks a wonderful day. FOMC, federal funds rate. The big news, Jerome Powell himself coming out, flapping the gums, telling us what our interest rate's gonna do. And we're gonna be discussing the potential scenarios that we need to be prepared for, as Bitcoin is currently at a very important place at a very important time of year, at the most crucial point in the 4-year Bitcoin halving cycle. We're getting ready for a massive move. And of course, we got to shout out the Casper crew taking the short trade from the exact top. As you can see here, taking the long trade from the exact bottom. As you can see here. And then, of course, look, guys, we gave the short from 107 to 109. We gave the long from 103.4. We've been calling pretty much every single level, even though I haven't been trading these internal bounces here. All right. We gave the short setup from here. We gave the long setup from here. We even gave the long setup from here. Okay, we've been crushing maker if you use my link. And of course, right now, Antarctic is having a new promotion where you can win up to $50,000 sharing in the prizes, plus 1 million Antarctic exchange points, which, guys, let me tell you something. People don't understand. You get points for trading on this exchange because it's an exchange made by traders for traders. These are going to be worth something that you will be very happy about in the future. All right. So now's the time to be getting into Antarctic Exchange. It's a very new platform. All right. So make sure to check it out. I'm also trading on WEEX and MEXC. Low fees, centralized exchanges. Now, we got lag, we got bad stream, whatever, man. We're just gonna roll with it, you know? I honestly, there ain't nothing I could do. All right, we're rolling with it, man. We're rolling with it. All right, so if you're having issues with the stream, make sure to refresh. And let's check it out here. It says on my end, excellent condition. All right, excellent condition. Now, earlier this morning, I did sit down with my man, Jerome Powell, and we had a Zoom call. All right, you can see here, this is the Zoom call. I myself, just being normal old Jason Casper, I wanted to make sure that Jerome Powell knows that I majored in trans non-carbon binary emission gender studies. So I tried to dress just like the way I used to dress back in college when I was getting my degree in trans non-carbon binary emission gender studies. And Jerome Powell, being his good old Jerome Powell self, he was looking quite nervous, as if he didn't really know what to say. As if he just didn't have any answers, as if he had to find creative ways to say, I don't know. But the one thing for certain that he did tell me, he said, Jason, trust me, at 2:00 p.m. Eastern Time, we are going to get multiple injections of volatility in these markets, because one thing that's for sure is, although these things oftentimes, let's be honest, they do turn into nothing burgers, nada hamburguesas, but they do cause short-term volatility. Now here's the deal. I did take a poll in the chat. I asked y'all, what do you think is going to happen with these rates? Interestingly enough, 29% say cut rates, 16% say hike rates, which is pretty crazy, actually. And most of you guys say nothing, all right? Right now, the market is pretty much pricing in that interest rates are going to stay at 4.50%. But CPI did come out colder than expected, right? Inflation was lower than expected. And so there is a chance maybe we could see an interest rate decrease. Now, if that happens, that is quite bullish. If nothing happens, I'd say that's pretty dang neutral, man. That's pretty dang neutral. And we have to understand also, this is happening in the middle of some geopolitical conflicts as well. So things could get quite volatile. Now, we are in the month of June, if you didn't know. And the month of June is one of the most important months in the Bitcoin cycle, because really, here's the deal. We've got 2 weeks left. And during these next 2 weeks, I think we're going to pretty much know for sure what the rest of the summer is going to do. And if we're not going to get a bullish break within the next 2 weeks, if we're not going to see something drastic bullish happen, within the next 2 weeks, then I would honestly expect that we see a sideways and down summer, culminating with some bullishness in the fall. All right, so let's see here. We've got. Let's see if I can get the mic. Let's check it out over here on the YouTube end. Looking kind of good. Let me check it out on my phone here. See if we're good or bad. I'm gonna listen to the stream live while I'm streaming live. All right. Let's see what happens. Let's see. Let's see. Honestly, everything sounds pretty good to me. All right, so let's pop on over to the chart, man, because in a few hours we are going to get this news. Now, I just want to talk about the fact that, the whole sell in May and walk away that everybody was talking about last month. Here we are in June and pretty much nothing. There's no sell in May, walk away. There's nothing has happened here. But I do just want to discuss the fact that the Bitcoin price right now is in a very important place, which is resistance of the local sideways range. All right, we've basically got ourselves this as a sideways range right now. Very similar to the range that we traded in 2024. Also quite similar to the range that we traded here in 2023. All right, I'd say these three ranges are quite similar. And one thing I want to point out about the 2023 range that basically went from the winter of 2023 until the fall of 2023, and the 2024 range, which went from the winter of 2024 until the fall of 2024, is that the bottom of these ranges all happened in they happened at the end of the summer, the beginning of the fall. Okay, 2023, we came to the bottom of the range. We took the low in the fall, and then we got a big pump. 2024, we came to the bottom of the range in August, and then that was the bottom, and then in the fall, we got a big pump. Here we are in 2025, and if we cannot break out now, all right, it becomes more and more likely that we see the same kind of pattern repeat, where we have a sideways and bearish summer, culminating with a bottom around August, and then a big pump in the fall. Now, the question is, where's that bottom going to come in? Well, we can't really know that right now, but we can identify the key areas in which we are going to be looking for that bounce to happen. Because here's the thing, if we can identify patterns in the charts, then you can use those to make money, right? If we know that for the last 3 years, August is the month to be getting in for the next big pump, well, we can use that to our advantage, right? This is how you trade. You got to have a plan, right? You have a plan. And if you have a plan, well, guess what? Then you can take the trade when it comes to your area, right? This is how we get into the trades in the Casper Crew VIP Discord. Short from the exact top, long from the exact bottom, local short from 109, local long from 103. We give these levels in advance. We're prepared for them so that when the moves happen, we know what to do, all right? You know what to do. Now, let's discuss what could happen this week, because I do think, honestly, I think today is a pivotal day for the Bitcoin price. It's the middle of June. It's FOMC. This, I think, it's a Wednesday. I mean, Wednesdays are typically the weekly highs or lows. All right. So, what do we really want to see for bullish continuation on Bitcoin? Here's what I think really needs to happen. We've been consolidating right now, literally. This is our 5th week, guys. This is our 5th week of consolidation. It's pretty crazy that it's already been 5 weeks, over a month after hitting that all-time high. We've pretty much done nothing. What we really need to see is we need to see a candle close above the value area high of the macro range. All right, we need to see another candle close above the value area high of the macro range. Right now, this is coming in around $107,000. And you can see for the past 3 weeks, 107,000 has been our resistance. We've been unable to confirm a candle above this level now for 3 weeks. So that's the first thing that we need to see in order to get any kind of sign of strength here. Although I'm bullish on Bitcoin, I need to see some kind of confirmation in the chart that the market wants to push the price higher. And right now for me, as we're at resistance for 5 weeks, unable to hold above this level, that to me isn't making me want to hit the buy button, right? If anything, it's making me think, okay, we cannot reclaim it. We need to come back for a retest. But if this very simple level, $107,000, if we can now hold above here, close the weekly candle, now we've got this key, was resistance back in the beginning of 2025. Now we could see it holding as support after the breakout. That's a big confirmation that, yeah, the market wants to push to the upside. And we have a lot of things going on right now in the world that could facilitate volatile moves to the upside. You know, a lot of times fundamental things, news events, and things that happen in the world do facilitate market moves, but a lot of times those moves are unpredictable, or they do get like a big dump and then pump, or a big pump and then dump. Something like what happened back in March 2020, where, you know, apparently the whole world shut down, and for 2 days we saw Bitcoin dump like crazy, but then we saw prices higher than we had ever seen before, okay? So as we're heading into the news today on a Wednesday, be aware of $107,000, a close above that, especially a weekly close, very bullish. Now, if we cannot get that close, then we do need to be prepared for a bounce from our next support. Now, we're basically just going by the volume here. The support resistance flipped. Next major stop is going to be $97,000. 97,000, that's the high volume node of the entirety of this sideways price action. So if we do get a pullback to 97 and we start to see a bounce, that's actually the next place that I'm personally interested in getting in to the market, right? Now, if we don't see that, then we just take it to our next major area of support resistance, which is going to be down here in the high 80s. All right, high 80s. Now we can see here on the weekly chart that there's pretty much no support besides this high volume node on the way back down to the high 80s. We're just looking at the market structure here, and we're saying, hey, you know, there's no real clear structure here. This is just a straight shot to the upside. A little bit of consolidation on the weekly with this wick at the POC, this high volume node at 97,000. But if we're not going to hold 97,000, what in the world is going to keep us from coming back down to test this base that we formed down here? Nothing really, right? And so as we're watching the summer unfold, and summer's coming up too, I think the solstice is in what? 3 days? 3 days? What did you say? I can't hear you. Solstice in 3 days? Yeah, so the summer's coming up, man. And historically speaking, sideways and down, I don't want it to be, but if it is, we got to prepare. So if it's August, right? Let's say we do get a little bit of bounce from 97. You know, we do something like this, the summer, sideways and down, a slow, painful, and then all of a sudden August comes along and we're down back to this area. We say, hey, it's that time of year where if we're going to get that one last big pump like we expect in the 4-year cycle, because we only have a few months left by the time we're coming to August, this could be a place for it to happen. And if we really want to stick to the pattern that we've seen for the past 2 summers, we would actually look to take out this low. Now, I know that's scary for a lot of people. It's scary, but let's say it's August, mid-August, September. If we're coming down to this area and then coming back up into this, based on the pattern, assuming the bull market continues, that's actually going to be the place to get in. That's going to be a last big chance to get in, honestly. If it happens in like September, we might September, October, November, December to finally hit an all-time high above $120,000, right? So we do need to be prepared for that, because this is literally what we've seen the last few summers, right? Look at this, September 2023. when we had this range here from the winter, from February, I mean, it's very similar to what we're seeing now, right? We had this sideways range here. When we came down to the lows in August, we actually made a lower low after making a higher high. I mean, we had our first high, higher low, made a higher high. Then we came down for a lower low, pumped, right? We see it also in 2024. Very, very similar stuff. All right, we had the bottom of our range. We made a lower low, and then we pumped. All right, so here we go again. Similar to 2023, we made the high. We made a higher high. Are we going to go for that low? It could absolutely happen. And I'm a firm believer right now that if we don't see a breakout in June, we're probably going to have a sideways-ish summer. All right. Now, one good thing about man, so I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say this. I don't believe the top is in for Bitcoin, just based on the cycle and the timing. I feel in my bones that we have one more big rip to the upside. Now, the big concerning thing on this chart is the fact that if we don't break out this week, we are going to see probably a confirmed upside down Sam Bankman-Fried bearish man boot pattern on the weekly time frame. Whereas the price is getting higher to key resistance, Sam Bankman-Fried's man breaths are getting lower over time with the money flow, the pepperoni nipples getting lower. This is called a bearish divergence, and this actually does mark the top of the bull market, right? For example, top of the bull market, 2021, we saw the confirmed weekly bearish divergence, money flow and momentum both getting lower. It looks very, very similar to what we saw here, to what we're seeing now, all right? And so this is where I'm just going to be honest with you guys. This is where I say I'm feeling in my bones the top is not in yet, okay? I'm confident that the top will be in 2025, but I feel in my bones the top is not in yet. I feel like we have one more big rip, all right? Some market euphoria is what we really need here. We haven't really seen that, okay? So the weekly is looking scary. So the only thing now that I can hope for on this weekly is that we see something like this, where we get a red dot on the weekly, but then it gives us one more thing like this, all right, for our cycle top coming in the fall winter of 2025. Because that red dot confirming on the weekly would be a very bearish sign. But I would hope that we would see something similar to what we saw back here, right, where we saw a very bullish sign. Okay, we saw a pretty bullish sign here. But then what happened is we played a game of green dot, red dot. Looked like we were going to get a big pump, but just kidding. You know, we got that lower wave, and then we got the big pump, right? Big pump looked like it was going to happen here, but then we had a pullback and then boom. So that's what we'd be hoping for here, right? We confirm the red dot, and then we get the something like that, something like this, right? And that's where we get our cycle top. That's kind of what I'm hoping for right now. And I say this just based on the 4-year halving cycle and when we can expect to see that big old push to the upside, which we have not seen yet, right? We haven't seen that yet. So, man, scary stuff. Very scary and sensational. All right, so dang sensational. Like your boy Jay Casper, super sensational. You know? That's why he goes around looking like this, like he's majoring in trans, non-carbon, binary emission, gender studies. That's why you see me on this YouTube channel go from this to this to this to this to this to this to this, right? It's just a whole range of emotions culminating in this. This is what we want to see, all right? This is the embodiment of the top of the market cycle, all right? When everybody and their mom is going around looking like this, you go into the supermarket and your friend's grandma comes in rocking this look saying, "Have you heard of Bitcoin?" That's when the top should be in. But now, we're still chilling like this, all right? We're still chilling like that. So let's go down to some lower time frame. We'll do some LTF analysis. Make sure to smash up the likes. cycle came early because of BlackRock. Well, that would suck, honestly. That would suck. Shout out to Dread Mining. Have I thought about getting a gimbal? No, I haven't. Dread Mining. This is the most unprofessional YouTube channel in the world, alright? Right now, if you saw where I was streaming right now, you'd understand. I don't even know what a gimbal is, man. Alright. But maybe I should shut the dang camera. You know? If I don't hold the table while I walk, then it works. But when I hold the table, it's a little bit shaky. Shout out to the Whiskey Reaper. It's not in maybe 2026. I don't feel like, I mean, maybe early 2026, but 2026 is actually where the bottom's going to be in. All right. How can you have euphoria with war? Well, Crypto Pino, there's a way if we think about, you know, with if there is an event that happens. I mean, first of all, we've had war literally since what, 2022 or 2023? I don't really remember when the Eastern European War began, but we've had war literally for the majority of this. All right, we've had war for the majority of this. Okay. And here's something else. I'm pretty sure that war is bullish for Bitcoin. All right. War is bullish for the economy in general. It's like short-term scare. Everyone's freaking out. All right. But then guess what? The printing presses go off. Because how are you going to fund that war? The central bankers and their fiat currency are going to fund the war. They're going to fund both sides of the war. And so they got to just create more money, and that stimulates the economy because we got to make more weapons. You know? We got to pay more government people. And then guess what? People put their money, all this new money, into stuff like stocks and crypto. Now here's something else. I mean, if there is really global instability, wars, and all this kind of stuff, well, where would you rather have your money? Probably you put it into assets like gold, which gold right now has been pumping. I mean, obviously it's been getting a pullback this week, but in general, as instability builds, people are putting their dollars into gold, something that preserves its purchasing power, and Bitcoin is the closest thing you can get to gold digitally. And if we just look at Bitcoin, I mean, you know, the last few years, going back to 2018, you know, we've had a meager 4,000% increase, right? Meanwhile, within the last 5 years, we've literally seen the purchasing power of the dollar plummet like crazy. So that's what I mean by when I say that these events that happen cause volatility, and often they lead to the opposite reaction that people expect. I mean, let's look at what happened back in 2020. All right, the whole world shuts down. The whole economy shuts down. All right, we have 2 days, this one candle, 2 days of price action, a 53% drop in Bitcoin. Oh no, so bearish. How could anybody be bullish at a time like this? But then, I mean, 1,600% increase. So, you know, that's turmoil, in global turmoil is actually bullish. All right. It's like this weird game that they play where they hurt everybody, they kill people, they destroy people's lives, but then they get rich doing it by the manipulation of the phony fiat currency, right? So you got to think of it from that perspective. All these things that are going on, at the end of the day, are going on because of people's greed and their desire to make money, really. And they're going to do it through this market system. And now Bitcoin is part of that system. Unfortunately, you know, back in the day, every Bitcoiner was like an anarchist. You know, said, forget about the government. You know, all the OG Bitcoiners, Satoshi Nakamoto, if he's still alive, if he's even a real person, would be disgusted that now there's a BlackRock Bitcoin ETF. All right, that's not what it was supposed to be, but that is what it is now. That is what it is now. All right, so let's zoom in, lower time frame. Let's see what we got. Yesterday, we did come down to take this liquidity from last Friday. We're starting to get a little bit of a move to the upside here. We're starting to get a little bit of a trigger wave coming on in. Let's check out, do we have any news coming out now? We have unemployment in 5 minutes. Let's see if the unemployment in 5 minutes gives us any kind of big push here to either side. Let's see if the unemployment gives us any kind of a push. While we wait for the unemployment, let's shout out all y'all in the chat. Make sure to smash the likes, man. We've got over 1,000 people in the house, only 200 likes. That's crazy. Shout out to Braveheart. He says, he just shooed the pre-market shock play. Boo, dude, it's the way things go. Crash pump, rinse and repeat. Shout out to Splashfire Films. He says, Satoshi watching the Casper crew trading his Bitcoin up and down, left and right. Shout out to Jennifer Moffitt. BlackRock making money everywhere. No way Powell's gonna cut, says Woo. Doriani says 1 hour time frame making head and shoulders, so it's not good for market. Shout out to Preparing for War. Red dot on and off. Won't confirm till next week, but who knows? Yeah, Preparing for War. I feel you. This is why, like, this week to me is so important. This week is so important. If we can close that weekly candle above, shout out to Brave. I feel you, bro. It's hard to type on a treadmill. If we can close that weekly candle above the value area high, that would give me some hope. Am I wearing a weighted vest on the treadmill? Yeah, I'm wearing a weighted vest on the treadmill. Bulletproof vest full of plates and armor. Ammo. Full of plates and ammo. Robert really hopes to see a rate cut. Yeah, this is the most boring price action, and I personally haven't taken a trade this whole week. I have not taken a trade this entire week. Although I've given the levels in my Discord. Short from here, long from here. Levels given in the Discord. I personally have not taken any trades this whole week because it's just, this is a no trade zone for me. We're at macro resistance. I'm already in a long from the low of the range. I'm short from the top of the range. I'm just waiting to see what the heck is going to happen. You know, I'm in no rush. I'm in no rush to take a trade. And neither should you be, unless you're very convicted and you're good risk management. Guys, if you want to learn this, check out the free course on YouTube. All right? Check out the free course on YouTube under playlists if you want to learn this stuff, guys. And make sure to check out the cool deals going on right now on ANTARCTIC and BLOFIN. You won't be disappointed if you know how to trade. If you don't know how to trade, don't sign up for any exchanges. Go over for the free course first. All right, if you don't know how to trade, don't sign up to an exchange. Go check out the free course, then sign up to an exchange. All right. All right. All right. Let's quickly, I do want to take a look at how the order flow is going. We got this news coming out in 1 minute. Okay, so we're unable to hold VWAP. We've actually got a little bit of bearish CVD forming under the VWAP right now, as we're about to get some news. All right, you can see here, as we are holding underneath the VWAP, we're seeing lots of longs open up. It looks like somebody's absorbing those longs. This move yesterday, man, we had a lot of shorts. This was not a long squeeze. This was millions of shorts coming into the market. Now, the majority of those shorts are now out of their positions. There's still a few open here, but the majority of these shorts, especially everybody who shorted from 105.9 and below, are now out. And what else do we have here? Anything worth noting? We don't really have bullish CVD throughout the entirety of this because the open interest has not gone up. But the CVD line is showing a bullish divergence, but the open interest does not really give us any good data here. Let's zoom out even more on the order flow. Yeah, it's weird, like this whole going all the way back to the beginning of June is happening on a decrease of open interest. we're seeing a lack of interest, just people getting out of trades here. You know, every time we see a spike in trades, they close out. All right, the last time we saw a big spike in trades was the shorts yesterday. More than half of them are currently out of the market. We went from about 1.6 billion positions opening back here on June 5th to right now down to 1.5 billion. So we've seen just a consistent closing out of positions. Let's zoom out even more here. We just got our news. Let's see if we have any volatility on the news here. We'll go down to our 1 minute time frame. Not much here. Let's see what happened. Okay, so interesting. Unemployment a little bit lower than expected. That's actually kind of good for Bitcoin. It's a little bit lower than expected. A little bit lower than expected. It's coming down. It's coming down over time, more than expected. All right, so that's also going to be something that Jerome Powell probably is going to talk about during his press conference. But, uh-oh. Oh, no. Big dirty perp coming in. The big dirty purple candle coming on in. Big dirty perp turning into a blue doji. Shout out to Dave Digital. Why would we stay in this market? Because Bitcoin's going to 100K, man. We're pumping all the way up to 100K. What is the profit of getting in a long and short trade at the same time? Trench Lord TV wants to know. Well, what do you mean, getting in at the same time? There's no profit to be made at the same time. But if you get into a long and a short at different times, then there's lots of profits to be made. Like, for example, this trade, these two trades I'm in now. All right, I've already guaranteed to make myself $33,000 no matter what. All right, because our stop losses are in profit, right? So no matter what happens, we're guaranteed to make 30K. So there's a benefit to being in these two trades at the same time, because if we pump like crazy, boom, then the short gets stopped out after making some profit and the long is still running, all right? If we dump from here, then guess what? Long trade gets stopped out and the short trades are running, okay? So I'm in multiple positions. Of course, looks like Bybit's kind of messed up here. But I'm in a short trade. Already guaranteed 0.05 Bitcoin. I'm in this short trade, already guaranteed $3,000. Then I'm in this long trade, guaranteed 30K. I'm this long trade over here on ANTARCTIC, already guaranteed about 4,000, right? So no matter what happens, being in these positions is one of the best things you can do. And if you want to learn more about this, check out the free course, part 16, how to manage open trades. This goes over my exact strategy of longing and shorting at the same time, and how I do it, and why I do it, and where I take profit, and how you can do it too. All right, how you can do it too. Because all we want to see are the purple candles turn blue. No wig today? Nah, I don't have a wig. What's the stop loss? Palu account. Yeah, Palu account, guys. That's the way to go. That's the way to go. Shout out to Mike Dutch in the chat. Shout out to Divine Hood in the chat. Shout out to Lasers Go Pew Pew in the chat. Shout out to Bamboozel1234. Lower unemployment could mean a recession. It could. Oh, snap. Divine Hood says now Powell doesn't have a reason to cut rates because things are working without the rate cut. You're right. You're right. Yeah, that's crazy. No news impact. Well, you know what? Look, we've got the real big news coming in approximately, let's see, 6 hours? Less than 6 hours? War equals money printer. Absolutely. Shout out to Itai. He says, Ma shlomcha, Jason. Metsuyan, achi. Hakol tov me'od. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Yeshua. Shout out to Z. He says, non-binary, non-natty. Jason, how are you? I'm doing pretty well, man. Praise the Lord. Am I going live for FOMC? No, sadly, no. All right. I'm not today. All right. I'm in a little bit of a different situation than usual, guys. Things look a little bit different to me right now. A little bit of a different situation. But in about 25 minutes, we will be doing a VIP New York Open live stream in the Casper Crew VIP Discord. And we'll be looking for the trade setups, like the short, like the long, like the short, like the long. All right, so make sure to check that out at jasoncaspertrading.com. Best trading community in the world. Honestly, for the money, it's the best value. We got 4 instructors in there, live streaming every day, multiple times a day, all time zones. Absolutely crushing it. All right, absolutely crushing it. All right. Like our man Boyan in there, Boyan. Our 90-year-old Chinese pizza-eating, coffee-drinking trader is one of the instructors in there. Everyone has to be jacked. All right, everyone's jacked. We got Thor. We got White Phoenix. And we got myself. All right. Let's go to our 12-minute time frame here. This price action, guys, this is... Here's something else about the month of June. How important it is that we get a break. The longer that we don't do anything here, the more likely it is that we just have a sideways and down summer. Like we have the past few years. I mean, we really need to see that break because the reality is, as we analyze the ranges, this is not how the breakouts have happened historically. This is not how the breakouts have happened, right? We go all the way back to November 2022. The breakout happened with much conviction, and there was no question on the weekly time frame whether or not, you know, we're gonna see that break. What's happening now really reminds me more of the 2023 range. We didn't see the breakout, and then we ended up with a sideways and down summer. Right? This is why I want to see it happen. Preferably, we want to see it happen, you know, back in May, right? Preferably, we wanted to see that happen back in May. So, every single time that we break out of these ranges, there really is no question, right? We're not sitting there wondering, are we going to break out, yes or no? Like, the only time we sit there and say, are we going to break out, yes or no? It means no, right? Every other time, yes, boom, yes, boom, yes, boom. Yes, boomity bap, bap, boom, boom, bap, boom, bap. Give me a wrap. Weekly El Punto Rojo on Bitcoin. It was not there earlier. Is it here now? Oh! Ah! Oh no. Yeah, weekly red dot here on Bitcoin. Man, if Vic, we need to confirm above 107 and deconfirm that red dot, man. And here's that red dot means we are coming down the next few weeks. That red dot means summer is not going to be bullish. And we have to wait for fall. And our hope has to be in the old playing red dot, green dot into the fall. And then we can have our bull market top. And then we can start buying in the summer of 2026. Excuse me. Summer of 2026. Am I using high leverage instead of putting more money because you're worried your account could get hacked? Yeah, of course, man. That's one of the major reasons. Never keep your money on the exchanges. But there's many reasons I use leverage. Or if you want to know about why and how I use leverage, go check out my free course on YouTube. All right. Jeremy says the cycle is over. It could be, honestly. It's the more... I'm sorry, I got some in my throat. Hang on. The more time we stay here and the more bearish things we see on the chart, the more I kind of feel like it's more possible that the top is in. But look, I have to say, I feel it in my bones. I feel it in my bones, like a true Italiano. Like a true Italiano, I feel it in my bones that the top is not in. All right. So that's no reason to be bullish. Feeling it in the bones is no reason to be bullish. All right. But I just don't feel like we've had that big pump. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like we've had all that euphoria and all this kind of stuff. You know? I don't feel like we have. But what do I know? Yeah, okay, let's take another poll in the chat here. Do you guys think the top is in? Because I really don't. I mean this, like, I really mean it. I do not think the top is in. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. Is the top in? Yes or no? Let's take the poll. Let's take the poll. Yay or nay? Top in? Let's see what you guys say. Top is not in, but extended timeline relative to normal. Top is in because of war. Man, honestly, the war makes me feel like it's not in. The war makes me feel like it's not in. The war makes me feel like the war could actually save Bitcoin. I know that sounds crazy, but war could save Bitcoin. So most people say top is not in. That's what's up. That is what is up. All right, we got 67% say no. 67% say no. It's too freaking bullish out there. Really? Exactly. War equals black swans. That's how I feel as well. The war equals the black swans. War equals black swans. Shout out to J-Boy Bullish. He'll bet my reputation that the top isn't in. I don't have a reputation, but you're hoping to get one. Yeah, same, man, same. Do I think the top is in last cycle when the top is actually in? I didn't think the top was in last cycle when the top was actually in. I thought we were going to hit 70K, to be honest with you. But here's the thing. Last cycle top, there were all the feelings of a cycle top. There was complete euphoria. There was complete euphoria. This time you say the euphoria wasn't with Bitcoin, but with the memes. Yeah. I guess. I could see a case for that. This time is different, but last time there was Bitcoin euphoria, and now there's not. Jay must have gotten some poop and feathers in his eggs this morning. Yeah, seriously, man. You know. Shout out to Itai. He says, do I think the markets will fall if Trump... I'm assuming that means goes to war. Look, yes, I think we could get a dump. Look, if that really happens, if Trump attacks, we could see a big dump in everything followed by a pump. I honestly think that would be a bullish thing. As much as war sucks, war could cause a short-term dump, and then the printing presses turn. Like I said before, people got to fund the war. How do they fund the war? The central bankers print their fiat. All right. What's going to cause the euphoria? Well, it could be this whole war situation, bro. Or really, here's the thing. How quick does market sentiment change? Right? How quick does market sentiment change? I mean, we get stuck in these ranges and interest dies down. But do you remember, the bullish sentiment that was here, even just in November, right? In November 2024, Trump wins the election. There's a lot of bullish sentiment. That's why people argue that the top is in now, okay? But even back here, people were calling the top in this area. Let me see, I don't have it on the screen. People were calling the top back here in January. People were saying December, January, top is in here. And I've never seen such bearish sentiment. People are saying the top is in here, double top. It's just like last time. Here's the thing. People this time think that they're calling the top, but no one ever calls the top. And when I say no one ever calls the top, people call the top. I mean, in general, the sentiment is not that bearish. Shout out to Sue Deep. How did I meet White Phoenix? How did I meet White Phoenix? I went to a square dancing conference in West Virginia. All right, I went to a square dancing conference in West Virginia, and I went out to dinner at a Denny's with my wife and a few other people. And I went to the bathroom, and as I opened the bathroom door, White Phoenix was opening it from the other end, and we ran into each other. We both fell backwards on the floor, and we both passed out. We were both knocked out. We were out of it for like an hour. Nobody saw us. The Denny's was totally empty. It was late at night in West Virginia. And then finally when someone found us, we woke up and we started talking, because we had just gone through this traumatic experience together. And we started discussing, hey man, that was a really scary thing that happened to us, but can't wait to go look at the Bitcoin chart to take another trade. And we started realizing, hey, we're both thinking the first thing when we wake up, we got to check the Bitcoin chart. We're pulling out our phones together, checking the charts. I show him my chart, then he shows me my chart, and it looks like this, shining bright white light. I see this chart just shining bright. I couldn't even see the candles. And from that point on, I knew, man, I got to get this guy in the Casper crew, because the dude is he's got some white fiery charts, man. He's got some white fiery charts. Oh yes, of course, we both woke up wearing Depends underwear, yeah, for sure. Now, here's the thing. Remember, in the story, White Phoenix was coming out of the bathroom. I was going in. I hadn't peed yet, so it's a good thing I was wearing my Depends. There's a lot of euphoria around the ETF, stablecoin. It just doesn't have that vibe, bro. Look, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. How long till the news? 5 hours and 12 minutes. Are his charts better than mine? Bro, they're so bright. All right? They're so bright. We'll have to wait and see. I feel that the top is not in. If the top is in. Okay, if the top is in, guys, I am short from the exact top. And if the top is in, I cannot wait to next year, next summer, pop on this live stream with literally this trade open, because it will be. All right, it will be. If we're really going to have a 70 to 80% pullback, and this is the top, this trade will be over, man. Isn't that nuts? There's no way the top is in. There's no way I shorted the exact top. There's no way. I'm just not that guy. I'm not that guy. That's not me. I'm not that guy. Do you know who is that guy? Is Boyan. All right, Boyan literally shorted the exact top last cycle. All right, he was just eating his pizza, drinking his coffee out there in China, trading Bitcoin, being all 90 years old and buff. he shorted the exact top. That's not me. I don't short the exact top. That's not how my life works. I never buy the meme coins that pump 10,000x. All right, that's just not me. All right, there's no way. I'm not that guy. All right, I'm like a slow and steady gains maker in life. All right, things never come to me quick. Okay, there's no way I'm short from the exact top. There's no way. Just the fact alone that I'm short from here tells me that top is not in. All right. Now I did long the exact bottom, but that's different because I'm a perma Bitcoin bull, baby. But yeah, can you imagine if the top is in and I shorted it? That would be nuts. That would be nuts, man. That would be nuts. All right, I've got right now $250,000 on Bitcoin. If I let these things run, there's a potential. You know, I could be making like, who knows, $200,000. That would be nuts, man. That'd be pretty cool. Because trust me, the way I short Bitcoin in a bull run is I do not close those trades, man. In case, just in case. Just in case. You guys ever met Justin? My friend Justin Case. I went to school. This kid Justin, his last name was Case. You know? I always maintained him as one of my good friends because, well, just in case I had no other friends. A bear market is scratching your garage door. Yeah, boy, it is pretty jacked for a 93-year-old Chinese guy. Look, guys, it's all about consistency, all right? It's the cold plunges that keep Boyan so jacked. And the 9 ancestral tenets, right? He eats raw testicle. He gets sun where the sun's not supposed to shine. And he spends all day making YouTube videos. Apparently, that's the way to get super jacked. And be healthy. Inflation went down, we should get a rate cut. So here's the perfect storm for a bullish fall. Okay, perfect storm for a bullish fall is I'm just thinking. We have the war thing going on. If the US is going to be involved, that means dollars start printing. Dollars start printing. You know, that's basically printing press is going off. That's bullish. That's the only thing the Fed can do. And inflation is going down as well. Is Boyan using market Cipher? Nah, he doesn't use anything, man. No, he just uses intuition. Boyan likes rock and EDM. Is Big Bus 28 knitting me a new green screen? Of course she is. If oil prices increase, inflation is going up, and we're all going to get a rate increase. That would be a game changer. That'd be a game changer. As crypto people, are we supposed to want war for our bags? No, we don't want war, but here's the thing. If the inevitable happens, you ride with it, right? It's a silver lining. Like, nobody should want war. But unfortunately, if we're dealing with markets, we're dealing with money. And if we're dealing with money, we're dealing with corrupt bankers who make money by really facilitating the start of and funding wars. That's just what they do, all right? Shout out to Felipe with the super chat. He says, going to be interesting to see how alts are going to act when Bitcoin starts to bear. They're already at their lows. Yeah, that's true, man. If the top is in, we are literally seeing altcoins at their bear market lows to start the bear. That's scary for all altcoin holders, including myself. Shout out to Camille. He says, how about QT? I feel like we're heading into a phase of QE, but QT could come and interest rates could go up, and then, yeah, then there's no more bullishness. You know, there's no more bullshits. But here's the thing. Trump is replacing the Fed, says Mike. There's no way that Trump is replacing the Fed. There's no way. He doesn't have that kind of power. And Trump owes the bankers because he was bailed out of bankruptcy by the bankers, right? Anyway, guys, I gotta go, man. God bless y'all. We're gonna be heading over to the Casper Crew VIP Discord for a VIP stream. God bless you guys. I'll see you next time, Lord willing. Have a great day. Like, subscribe, click the bell. Peace.